welcome to Finding You Inside of You, taking the journey within. That's what finding you inside of you is all about. And let me throw this in there. Only you can find your authentic self for yourself because we have been so conditioned and so programmed to look for ourselves in all the places outside of ourselves. And we have never thought or been taught to think about finding you inside of you. And I guarantee you that once you begin to find you inside of you, you're going to find so many things about yourself. And I like to look at it this way. You're going to find the good, the bad, and the ugly. And all of those are a part of your growth. But once you find you inside of you by finding the good, the bad, the ugly, I can promise you this as well. You're going to find more good inside of you that you never even dreamed that was there. And it's going to affirm for you a lot of things that you have already thought about yourself. But here goes again. We have been so conditioned to think outside of ourselves that we haven't loved ourselves because we have focused our love on everything outside of us. Because look at this, we've been conditioned that it was something wrong with saying, I love myself, I like myself, I'm proud of myself. And you have these people that will make you think that you are into your ego or you are promoting self-righteousness on your own self, which in this case, this is a good time to promote self-righteousness in your own self, because now you are looking within your own right eye, your spiritual eye, one vision, and now you've taken a U-turn back to yourself, and you're finding out things about yourself that you actually, you're finding the treasure within. So finding you inside of you, and we'll get more into that. Finding you inside of you, hit that subscribe button, and also make sure to like. And if you will, share this broadcast, share this podcast, share this timely word, because if you have tuned into finding you inside of you, I don't think nothing is by chance. I don't think nothing is just by haphazard. You're in the right place at the right time. So let's get into it. I want to talk today about the levels of the mind, or the levels of consciousness, or the levels of awareness. Did you know that if you are not expanding your awareness or your consciousness, if you're not expanding your awareness, your consciousness, guess what? You're like stagnant water. What you're doing is going around the same mountain, around the same circle, and you ended up right where you were 5 years ago, yesterday, last week. It doesn't matter. But if you're not evolving in your awareness, and this is the awareness of the self, if you're not evolving in your awareness of yourself, then your consciousness has become dormant. Now let that sink for a second. And you may be asking, well, Essence Evolved, what do you mean by my conscious is dormant? What I mean by your conscious is dormant is because you're thinking the same things, the same way, listen to the same stories, and even the stories that we tell ourselves. We're doing the same thing the same way and getting the same results. Our consciousness, our awareness has become dormant because we're not expanding it. So you may ask, well, how do I expand my consciousness? So glad you thought that thought. Well, you stay tuned and stay on this broadcast the time that I'm on this broadcast, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, it doesn't matter. Guess what's going to happen? Excuse me. You are going to expand your awareness. Yes. Becoming stagnation in your consciousness, your stagnation in your self-awareness, your stagnation within yourself. And so let's break that down. What does that look like? Okay. When you are in what's called the 3D dimension of consciousness, or the 3D dimension of awareness, this is what that looks like, because it's the programming that's in the subconscious mind, which is a thinking process. And you get locked into your subconscious mindset, which your awareness stays stuck within your subconscious mind. And a lot of times, the most people don't know that, because it's a programming which has become a habit. All right. So this is what that looks like. The world becomes a scary place to you, and it's based on fear. And what a person does is they take the path of least resistance, stuck in consciousness, stuck in awareness, meaning the program that this is all that you can see, this is all that you can feel, because of looking on the outside for affirmation, looking on the outside for confirmation. Your path becomes the conventional path. You're not a risk taker. Now, let me break that down for a second. Most people will say, or somebody may say, well, Essence Evolved, that's not using wisdom to be a risk taker. Well, guess what? You're taking a risk by listening to me right now. You're taking a risk wherever you are, whether you're driving or whether you're sitting on your sofa or at your living room table or laying in your bed. I don't care where you are. You're taking a risk to listen to something that I'm saying right now, because I promise you, something that I'm saying to you right now has hit your spirit, or better still, your soul. Because it's the soul that is, okay, here we go. It's the soul that is within you, because energy speaks to energy, and everything is energy. And you can take that to the bank. But it's your soul that is vibrating with something that I am saying here. And your soul is saying, yes, keep listening. Open up your understanding. Open up your heart. Open up your mind. Listen to this, because the inner you, the inner self, the inner traumas, okay, and your inner child is leaping for joy and said, yes, I need to hear this, because I am tired of going around the same mountain over and over and over. I'm tired of asking myself, why is it that I am not growing? Why is it that I am not evolving? Why isn't there a evolution or a revolution that's happening inside of me? It's because of the conventional path that you and many have put themselves on, and myself even at one time, because I'm not expanding my awareness, because I have been conditioned to work, suffer, and struggle until that's what I believe that I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to just work and be a slave. And let me talk about being a slave, because a lot of people that think that they're free have a slave mentality. And a slave mentality is someone who is always waiting for someone to do something for you that you can do for yourself. And I am big on saying this, and I stand on my square. No one is coming to save you, and no one is coming to save me. Now, you may meet people along your path, along your journey, that will support. And yeah, we'll give you an accolade, and we'll say sometimes, this is good, or you need to continue the path, or whatever you're on. But guess what? At the end of the day, no one or no thing or nothing outside of you is going to save you. It's called a decision that I must make for myself, that I'll get up and take my own bed and walk. Thank you very much. Because when you get sick and tired of being sick and tired of not growing, and when you get sick and tired of not evolving in your consciousness or your awareness, that's when you begin to move. But right now, I'm being a provoker to provoke you to ask yourself, am I growing? Am I evolving? And as we're getting ready to turn the man-made calendar and go into 2024, ask yourself, what have I done for the duration of 2023? How have I evolved in my mind? How have I grown in my awareness? What have I truly done over the course of this year so far that I can say, wow, I have expanded. I have learned new and different things. And not only have I learned new and different things, but I've learned things about myself. Because when you find you inside of you, and when you are really finding you inside of you and you are standing on your square, everything becomes new. You're excited about life because now you have moved from being in someone else's fate, what was created, because they didn't have a vision for you other than a vision for you, what they wanted you to do for you. You have moved into destiny. And as you find you inside of you and you expand your awareness, you expand your consciousness, you begin to sit with yourself and ask yourself, what gifts and talents do I possess? What do I bring not only to myself, but what gifts do I bring to humanity? But when you find you inside of you and move outside of the trauma, Traumas, move beyond childhood hurts that we take into our adulthood, and a lot of times we don't know that, your awareness is expanding because now it's about you. And you have no problem with saying, it's about me. It's about me. It's about me. It's about me. Let that sink in for a second. It's okay to say it's about me. Because it's time for you to say, it's about me. It's time to expand your awareness, your consciousness that you matter. So let's get up. Let's rise above the fear. Let's rise above entertaining others without entertaining myself. Let's move into the evolution of self. Let's move into the evolution of self-consciousness, self-awareness, self-empowerment. So you're not going to hear this kind of talk a whole lot because we have been conditioned to love everybody else, forgive everybody else, be for everybody else, see everybody else. But yourself is depleting. Yourself is dying. And how does the self die? The emotions are dying because you wear the mask. Your yes is not yes with authenticity. That's not the real you. You say yes when you really want to say no because you become a people pleaser. Because you're not fully embracing your own consciousness. The heart of you has said, I don't want to do that. I don't want to go there. I want to perfect my craft. I want to work in my garden. I've worked in your garden, so now it's time for me to work in my garden. It's time for me to return home to myself. So find you inside of you. I can talk about finding you inside of you, and I will continue to do that because I'm still finding me inside of me. It's a lifelong journey. And I end with saying this. It's a lifelong journey because we're having to unlearn the programming. We're having to unlearn things that we were taught as a child. We're having to unlearn things that we have even been taught in church. Then let that one sink. We have been, we are unlearning things that we were taught from our school teachers. And I was a school teacher for many, many years, and loved it. But if you're not in the hands of someone that has your best interests, usually this is what happens. They give you their perception of their self to you. Now, how does that work? It's called projecting. Because if I'm I'm going to just break it down and keep it real. If I am an unhealed fake person, guess what? I'm going to project what's really happening on the inside of me to you. How does that work? Oh, I don't think you can do that. I don't think you're qualified to do that. No, you're really not ready. You know that is a form of subtle projection because that's really how that person feels about themselves. So be careful as you are hearing words from people outside of you. Because 9 times out of 10, if it's fear-based, you're dealing with a person who is in fear themselves. So start to practice that. Be cautious of people who are talking to you. Be cautious of the energy or the words, or if it's edifying or if it's not edifying. And if it's a repeated pattern, you're dealing with someone who is projecting their issues, their traumas on you. And it could be generational, which means, this is how my mama's mama, daddy's daddy, cousin, uncles, aunt, all of them did it. So guess what? It's just in the family. It's just in the blood. And it may be because it's a learned behavior. But you have to start saying, finding me inside of me, the buck stops here. I'm going within and see what's inside of me. And I can promise you this much, because it happened to me. A lot of healing begins to take place, because you're learning that a lot of things that we believed and that we have been taught had nothing to do with me. And a lot of it was not the truth. But because of belief systems and because of the programming and because of traditions, I believe that. So that's where the unlearning a lot of things that we have been taught. And I will end with this, and you can research this because there's been research on this. Did you know that by the time that you're 8 years old, you have been programmed for the rest of your life? Because that is where we were told from someone else who we are. You ever wondered why you say things like, well, my uncle or my mother said, you're just like your father, or you're just like your cousin, or you're just like your granddaddy. And some of these people you never even met. But then you buy into that belief system, and then you begin to act out the energy of someone else. But when you find you inside of you for yourself, you become self-aware. You begin to expand your consciousness, your awareness, and you begin to say to yourself now, who am I? And yourself, which is your higher self, which is your soul, because you have quickened your soul. You have awakened your soul. And the soul is always speaking. It's called your consciousness. It's called your gut in some cases, that people want to say, I just have that gut feeling. So let your gut feeling, let your inner self, which is your spirit, which is your higher self, bring you back to yourself, bring you back to your authenticity, your authentic self, your real self, and take off the mask and find you. This is Essence Evolve. Share this podcast. And until the next time, find you inside of you.